Today we're gonna make pizza at home. It's so simple and easier than you probably think. You're gonna want every night to be pizza night. I'm actually using my sourdough pizza dough recipe, which I'll link up there for you. You can use any pizza dough that you would like. My dough has been temping for about 2 hours, which kind of lets it final proof in a way because it's been in the refrigerator. I'm using double O flour. You want to make sure you use a decent amount. I will also go ahead and dust the tops of my dough itself. And I'm going to dust the top of my peel. So I don't have a pizza peel, so I'm using a wooden cheese board. It's quarantine, desperate times. So anyways, it works fine. It's not ideal, but works in a pinch. Got my double O flour, and I'm going to take one of my pieces of dough and I'm going to place it on my bench. So step one, I'm going to make my indentation for the edges of my crust. If you get a bubble like that, just pop it because it's just going to be outrageous when it hits the oven. So I made a little kind of trench around and left it mounded up in the center, and then I created my crust. If you want like a completely thin crust, then you're not going to bother with this. Next, I'm going to take and I'm going to stretch. I'm very gently just stretching my dough. I'm trying to preserve the edges of my dough. So stretching, trying not to create any super thin spots, and then once it's nice and thin, you're going to lay it down like that. Trying to preserve the edges of your crust, get a nice circle, and then you're ready. So it's very important that you flour your peel or your cheese board because you want to make sure that your dough will move on its own. Otherwise, it'll stick to your peel and it will come off in the oven, and you'll end up with a sad mess, which you could probably salvage as a calzone, but here's to hoping. You want to make sure that you are ready with all of your toppings once you get your pizza to this stage. So the dough is sticky, especially this one, it's very soft. The key to homemade pizza is not using too much topping, not using too much sauce or too much cheese to kind of weight down the crust. It also depends on how thick your crust is on the bottom. I like a nice crispy crust, so I've got a thinner bottom here. Pasta sauce, there's much debate whether to cook or not to cook. This is barely cooked. It's like a 10-minute sauce. And then I've immersion blended it at the end just to make sure it's like nice and smooth. Also, I've used homemade or jarred pasta sauce. Look, it's not rocket science. It's pasta sauce on a pizza. It's gonna be awesome. Take a little ladle here, put it in there, give it a nice little swirl. You wanna leave a little border on the edge. I also have freshly grated mozzarella here that we're gonna just kind of we're gonna sprinkle on top. Try to do not like a completely low moisture cheese, but a lower moisture, because otherwise you have a lot of moisture on the top with the sauce. And I've created, let's just call them like lava flows in the oven. You don't want lava flows. Trust me on that. I'm gonna do a little bit of pepperoni on this. Again, you wanna make sure that you're moving fast because the longer this dough sits on here, the more likely it is that it's going to stick. Give it a little shake, make sure that it moves. If it doesn't move, try and put some flour underneath it. All we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot it forward on our peel. So shoot it and then pull it back really fast. I've taken my pizza stone from the oven. You can see remnants of cheese pizzas past. This is not necessarily what you want to do. I just want to show you. So I've given it a little shake, right? Again, this is a little fat, so with a peel it would be a lot easier. Back in we go. So my oven was preheated to 500 degrees, so it's gonna cook very fast, like 5 to 7 minutes. The moment we've all been waiting for. It is time to cut. Oh man, pizza's the best. I'm in New York now, so I fold my pizza. Awesome. Flavor in every layer. Amazing.